Hey guys, you're watching Jake 3D, and today I'm going to review the Elgato HD60 S capture device and the Bytecc DisplayPort splitter. Enjoy!
Two, one, engage. Taking damage.
This is the Elgato external USB capture device. This one is the HD60 S. The difference between the 60 and the 60S is the 60 does 2.0 instead of 3.0, and it encodes and compresses on the device. This one does not compress, it sends it straight to the computer and allows your computer to do the recording, or in compressing and encoding. Oh, and almost forgot, the HD60 S has virtually no delay when viewed on the streaming and encoding computer, so it's going to be better for live streamers, whereas the HD60 has a 1 to 2 second delay, but because it's encoded directly on the device, it's going to be better for those with slower hardware. Inside here, it just flips open. We got a couple of cables here. The first cable is going to be the USB 3.0. At just over 6 foot, the included USB A to C cable allows the Elgato to get a good distance from the capture computer. The HDMI cable is about 3.5 to 4 foot, so I'm going to use this for my Chromebook and my longer pair for the Elgato. And of course to give us a case decal. It's a nice little diagram. On this side is the output for the HDMI. On the reverse side is going to be the USB Type-C, the HDMI, as well as the audio in if you want to do a separate audio track. It's pretty simple. That is the Elgato HD60 S. Next step is to go ahead and do some game capture. I actually downloaded OBS to capture this whole process, so let's see how well it works for me. To set up the Elgato game capture, I downloaded the drivers from Elgato's website, then tried to set up the Elgato via OBS. I figured it would be just as easy as a webcam, which I had pretty much no problem setting up. When that didn't work, I downloaded the Elgato capture software to see if I could get it working through it. Elgato's recommended PC spec for this capture card show an i5 2K or above, but I'm rocking a much older AMD Athlon X2 3850. The Elgato software was very glitchy, and it had some sound and video recording errors and anomalies. These errors persisted even when I was not using the OBS software. After installing the 3.2 version of the Elgato software and restarting my computer, I was able to get the Elgato game capture to work with my camera, the Sony Handycam CX405. To set it up in OBS, I added a video capture device and named it, then selected the Elgato Game Capture HD. I had to set a custom resolution at 1920 by 1080 because at first it wouldn't automatically detect it. I left all the rest of the settings the same, and it only took a few seconds to pop up after that. Now that it's displaying in OBS, I can capture the camera view full screen, as well as start and stop directly from the computer. Next, I added my webcam so that I can capture both cameras at the same time. Because I unplugged it earlier, I had to stop and restart the webcam to get it working properly. I took advantage of the second view to show the camera, and oh, the battery died, oh well. But as you can see, I have the Elgato capturing the HDMI out from the camera, which is a micro HDMI port. It took me a little while to figure out that in order to initialize the stream, it required plugging the Elgato's HDMI output into a secondary monitor or TV. Once that was done, I could unplug it and it would still work fine with or without the monitor. This is due, of course, to the HDMI handsets needed by the camera. It works well in OBS, but the Elgato software continues to crash on me. In additional testing, the Insignia USB 3.0 hub I have does not work with the Elgato. However, I did get a J5 Create USB 3.0 hub with actually 3 additional outputs on it, and the Elgato works fine with it. Okay, a couple days later, I have actually been using the capture card a little bit. It is working pretty good, but on my system it is extremely slow. Not a fault of the Elgato, actually a fault of my computer not being able to encode quick enough. So I ended up reducing it from 1080p to 720p and reducing the screen capture. Once I enabled GPU hardware acceleration in OBS, I found that I was able to record my screen at 4K and 2 webcams with the Elgato all running at 1080p with very little issues. I have also gone and purchased a DVI splitter. I have also acquired a DisplayPort splitter. So and it is DisplayPort 1.2, and it should output 4K at 60 frames. What I'm going to do is actually use a DisplayPort to HDMI converter. I also ended up picking up, since it was extremely cheap, a DisplayPort to DVI. That way I can use legacy support on one of my older monitors here. And then of course, an additional DisplayPort cable. So let's go ahead and unbox the DisplayPort splitter. We have the actual splitter itself. On the back here it has the DisplayPort, we'll do it this way. It has the DisplayPort in, a LED power indicator, and a 5-volt DC jack. Then it has LED indicators for display out 1 and 2. It doesn't have any kind of rubber backing on the bottom, so I'm going to have to get something for that. And then of course the power brick for it. And that's it. Now I have heard people say never remove a cable on a monitor that is currently on. And while it is a valid concern and technically could damage it, I have been doing that for decades and never once come across an issue. Never once damaged a monitor, never once damaged a computer or graphics card by doing that. Okay. So that's plugged in. Okay, we got the light on the input side, and we got the light on the output side, so it does show that it is actively outputting a display signal. Alright, there we go. It is outputting a signal. Perfect. Now, let's see if we can do multi-monitor. Got the DisplayPort to HDMI, and we're going to use the second screen over here that's plugged into my Chromebook. So we do have this screen working. Check out my awesome microphone stand there. Yeah. I might need some equipment. Well, that just shut back off. Let's plug this in here. Light did not come on. Plug this in. This is actually going to a DVI splitter or DVI converter, so hey, the light did come on. So far, so good. But no signal just yet. But let's see what happens when we plug in the Elgato. We do have the lights, both lights on here. Now we got something. All right. Oh, it's actually detecting it as a second display. Very interesting. I expected it to just duplicate the signal, rather than the computer detecting that the output was connected to a splitter. See what happens when we just hit duplicate. Doesn't allow me to adjust the resolution. I did drop this one back down. See what happens when we go full 1200 or 4K. Now it is saying that it is 4K. However, I know for a fact this display is actually 1920 by 1200, so 4K plus, or rather 1080 plus. That is what I'm looking for, making sure it works properly. Then we want to come over here to OBS and enable the Elgato. It is working. The Elgato is working. So, success. Now, I can use this on a... let's see if I can get it in shot. Now I can use this on a separate streaming computer. Go into my monitor at 4K resolution. Through the splitter. Through, in this case, double conversion plus going through the Elgato. So, boom, 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 boom. This is very exciting. This means that I can go from my computer with DisplayPort cable, which is going to be the fastest, best, and most reliable method to do 4K gaming. So, from the computer into the splitter, out to my main monitor, and DisplayPort to HDMI into the Elgato capture device. So of course this is going to allow me to capture my screen on a second PC without slowing down a game or stream while recording top tier AAA games. If you're interested in the Elgato HD60 or the HD60 S like this one here, or a similar DisplayPort splitter, go ahead and select the Amazon link in the description. And guys, thanks for watching. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. Also, throw me a like and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.